Hello there. Okay, I'm recording this for you guys. This is how I make a chicken pot pie. So, the reason why it looks like this is I have first made a chicken soup because we had a power outage yesterday, and so we just cooked it on the wood stove. But we were planning that evening to have chicken pot pie. But we have this, it's all the ingredients that you would normally put in a chicken pot pie. Okay? And then I took out all the broth, and this, I just put bone broth in it. This is just chicken thighs chopped up, and bone broth, and this is the stuff left over from that. I use different types of spices, like maybe a tablespoon of Italian spice, onion powder. If you don't want to go to the trouble of chopping your celery and doing all that kind of stuff, and you want something really simple, because normally I will do that. I will chop up all that stuff. But if you want something simple, because you don't have any power, here in Alaska we had the big storm that lasted maybe 4 or 5 days, took out everybody's power. It was pretty disastrous. But you can just put, probably for this batch, which is normal, 2 boxes of bone broth, and then my chicken, and then a bag of mixed vegetables, and then I cut up 3 potatoes like that size, and then you're gonna, cool that, or you can do it immediately, or you can put, if you don't want to do it this way, you can put all of this stuff into your roaster pot like this, then take everything else that you've mixed together and put it in your pot to heat it up, because we're going to make this a gravy, and it's going to be gluten dairy free, because I'm gluten dairy free. But like I said, this is just some leftover soup that we made from yesterday because we didn't have power. Okay, so, and then normally what I love, and I did for my restaurant, is I would just make some drop scones and drop them on there. I have not tried making gluten-free drop scones yet, which would be wonderful if you're going to do a fruit compote or something like that. But I haven't tried that yet. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use gluten-free, cha-ching, crispy tater tots, Oneida. And after I make this gravy, I use cornstarch because that's what I'm familiar with. I'm sure there's several other things you can use. My friend uses arrowroot a lot of times. There's a couple of other things she also used. Don't know them off the top of my head. She had one of the best gluten-free restaurants in the state of Alaska. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this gravy, try to prop up this phone, and just make it with a slurry with this until we get it the consistency that tastes like what I'm most familiar with. And to make it a little creamy, this is like my favorite thing. This is what I use in my hot cocoa. When I just want a cup of hot cocoa, I use this, put it in my little tiny blender, and then I put in my real, absolutely real, where you're getting 2 recipes for the price of 1 here. So for my oatmeal, or for my hot cocoa, I use this. I use this on my cereal and everything. This is the thing that I find texturally and taste-wise the closest I can get to milk. And I use it just like milk in all of my recipes. But then I put in like a tablespoon of my very natural, I get a nice big bag for a good price of cacao. And then I put it in my blender so I have no lumps, like a tablespoon of sugar, a sprinkle, probably a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, a little bit of vanilla, and probably 1/8 of a cup of sugar, depending on how sweet you want it. Blend it up into my blender, my little tiny one over here. And then I just, for 1 cup, you're going to take 8 ounces or maybe a little more, depending on the size of your cup, of this stuff, and blend it up and put it in your cup, microwave it, and you probably have some of the best tasting hot chocolate that is gluten dairy free. Okay, back to our original recipe. So we're going to make the slurry to go in here. I'm going to try to find some way to prop this up so that you can see me doing this. I might have to, there's my, where I put my compost in the kitchen. I can prop it up like this, and you can see me doing this. Okay, I'm going to get a little bowl right here, and then we are going to open this up. I have a broken arm, by the way, so I do things a little differently right now. And we are going to take this. I'm going to go, first off, I'm going to probably go with 2 tablespoons of this. I don't want it real thick, but I do want it maybe, well, let's just go with, yeah, I don't want it to be like pudding. And another thing you might want to know is when the recipe for my cocoa, that can also be pudding, but you're just going to thicken it to however you like to thicken it. Okay, we're going to go with the 2 tablespoons. We'll be brave here. And make a little tiny slurry with some water. Okay, and this is at a nice boil. It is just how your grandma taught you how to make gravy. This is just slightly different than when you made this. If you were making this the old-fashioned way, you would probably take like flour or something, put some soup in there, you know, stuff like that. And it's going to need a little bit more water. You know, just so you get a nice slurry. I'm not a professional videographer, so I'm not going to edit this. Okay? I am a professional chef. I owned a 4-star, 5-star restaurant for like 15 years. So, and I served all kinds of things and, you know, try to make people healthy and happy. Here we go. So that is in there right now, and we'll see here in like 2 shakes whether this is the consistency. I don't want it like soupy. I want it like a nice gravy. There we go. And I don't know, do I just want a gravy or do I want to add some milk in there and make it like it's creamy? There we go. We're gonna take a risk here and we're just gonna try this. There we go. I'm saying it needs maybe another tablespoon. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do another tablespoon. Tablespoon. Right there. I actually used to make, you can see this pan here. When my house burnt down, I went out to my favorite place to buy restaurant supply, and I just replaced most of the things that I had in my restaurant instead of buying pretty stuff like I should have, because it's light, it's easy to use, you know, I was used to it. So when I bought my house, I replaced a lot of things with the antiques and things that I had in my restaurant. Okay, so far we've got 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. And look at that. That is beautiful. I'm liking it. Okay, I'm going to get a spoon so I can taste this. I will show you what it looks like, okay? It doesn't look much difference, but I assure you it looks like a pretty nice little gravy. Okay, I'm going to taste it, see if I need to add anything. Oh my god, this is too perfect. I don't know if I want to put it in, but I'm going to, you know what I should do? What I should do is just take a bowl take a little bit of this, like that. It's just really hearty tasting soup. It's not playing around. Put a dollop of this milk in there. Stir it around. Oh, that looks good. And then I'm going to take my spoon again, which I lost. I'm going to turn this off. I don't want it to scorch. And I'm going to taste this and see if it reminds me of Campbell's soup. Because I know I used to like to put a can of cream of chicken and cream of celery in mine. It's nice. It is very nice. But you know what? So I want that creamy texture. I might just do it. Put a little cream in there. There we go. But just a dollop. I'd say a quarter cup. There we go. And we're going to stir that up. Beautiful! Okay, I'm going to try and show you what this looks like. See, it's still pretty runny, but it's a nice gravy. Okay? And let's just taste it again. See if I messed it up. Here we go. No, that's actually absolutely perfect. So, now, this needs to be poured on this. And then, I'm going to take my tater tots and put them across the top. I have a broken arm, so I'm going to have to call the husband up to pour this into this. It's enough that it'll just come right above there. I don't really, ooh, there's a lot of liquid in here. I think it'll be fine. But that's it. That's all there is to it. You know, you just take those simple recipes that you love and just change out a couple of ingredients, and you can eat basically like you've always eaten all your life. Now, when I went gluten-free is because I had to. I absolutely had to. And I had been putting it off for years, but I kept getting so sick and winding up in the emergency room. And finally I said, enough's enough. And my doctor said, one of these days you're not going to be lucky. And it's been really nice. Really nice. And I still make cookies. I still make pies. And sometimes I serve them to people. They don't even know the difference. It's just getting the hack of it. And if in getting used to always eating at home, because eating at restaurants can be really dangerous for us. So you have to be careful. And you know what? It's so much cheaper to eat at home. We must save probably, let me think. I'm thinking $300 to $500 a week, because we're not eating out anymore, and we're eating very clean and still eating good. So I hope that helps. And if you like this video, I will post it or delete it if you hate it, and then maybe post some more. But I do encourage other people to do it, because this is not hard, and you are all so smart, and I just love seeing your posts. So you have a good evening, okay? Night night.